Behind the scenes at Manchester City, the atmosphere is one of expectation and renewed confidence. After a turbulent start to the season, Pep Guardiola's side seems to have regained its balance, and the latest updates coming from the Etihad have stirred the fans. The Spanish coach has shared decisive information about the physical condition of two of his key players, Erling Haaland and Rodri. Both had been doubts for the clash against Bournemouth, a match that could redefine the group's morale and put City back on the dominant path their supporters have become so accustomed to in recent years. Meanwhile, in the background, a young defender is beginning to attract attention within the club, and even a national team could interfere with the English side's plans. The unbeaten run that lasted nearly 2 months was abruptly ended by a spectacular goal from Matty Cash, which gave Aston Villa a 1-0 victory and exposed some of the weaknesses Guardiola is working to fix. However, the response was immediate. In the Carabao Cup, City defeated Swansea 3-1, showing resilience and character. Goals from Jeremy Doku, Omar Marmoush, and Ryan Cherki reignited the squad's morale and served as a reminder that Manchester City are still the team to beat in England. After a frustrating 2024-25 campaign, when the club failed to lift a trophy for the first time in years, the team seems motivated to reclaim its dominance. Pep knows the squad has more than enough talent, but demands consistency and total focus. The group has been rebuilding both physically and mentally, and the return of key players is an essential part of that process. Haaland, who missed the Swansea match after feeling discomfort during the Villa defeat, was rested as a precaution. The manager has confirmed that the Norwegian striker is now fully recovered and expected to start against Bournemouth, a piece of news that lifted the spirits of the supporters. Rodri's situation is more delicate. The Spanish midfielder, the brain of Pep's system, has returned to training but still inspires caution. Guardiola was candid in saying the player might not yet be ready to play the full 90 minutes, but expressed optimism about his gradual return. He emphasized that when Rodri is on the pitch, City becomes an almost unstoppable machine. If the Spaniard still needs more time, Nico Gonzalez is expected to retain his starting spot in midfield. This tactical flexibility is one of the hallmarks of the Catalan coach, who never hesitates to trust young players in big games when he believes in their potential. Another name drawing attention is Ryan Cherki. Now fully fit, the French midfielder could finally make his first Premier League start. His creativity and fearless dribbling have impressed Guardiola in training. The manager sees the youngster as a key option for breaking down compact defenses, something City will face against Bournemouth, known for their tactical discipline. The team knows there is no room for mistakes, especially with Arsenal maintaining their lead at the top and applying constant pressure in the title race. With Haaland recovered, Rodri nearing full fitness, and Cherki gaining minutes, Manchester City are beginning to rebuild strategically. Pep has been insisting on the need for the team to play with patience and intelligence, avoiding the anxiety that caused recent slip-ups. The message is clear. City cannot merely react to defeats. They must dominate the league again through consistency. And by all accounts, the squad has absorbed that mentality. The internal mood is one of total refocus, with the dressing room leaders reinforcing a message of collective concentration. While the first team works to regain stability, another story is unfolding within the club. Young Uzbek defender Abdulator Kusanov has been catching eyes behind the scenes. At 21, he is viewed as a long-term investment and has impressed with his imposing physique and competitive mindset. Despite strong competition from established names like Ruben Dias, John Stones, Joško Gvardiol, and Nathan Ake, the defender has shown composure and strength when given opportunities. Internally, there is a belief that Kusanov could become one of Europe's defensive revelations if he maintains his current development. Former captain Richard Dunn, a club legend and one of the most respected voices in City's history, took the time to comment on the youngster. He highlighted Kusanov's physical strength and speed, but also warned about the need for maturity. For Dunn, the defender's talent is undeniable, but the Premier League demands tactical awareness and calmness under pressure. According to the former defender, it is natural for young players to make mistakes through overexcitement, but that improves with experience and proper guidance, something Guardiola and his staff are known to provide. At City, the plan is to work with Kusanov patiently, offering him minutes gradually and tailored training sessions. The club's philosophy is clear: develop players properly before throwing them into the highest level of competition. Guardiola believes sustainable success comes from consistent processes, not improvisation. That's why, even with fans eager to see new faces, the coach prefers to prepare each player in his own time. The vision is long-term, and Kusanov represents exactly that kind of project. While the youngster gains experience, another issue is beginning to worry the board: the future of Omar Marmoush. The Egyptian forward has been a valuable asset in recent weeks, but might be unavailable at a crucial moment. The Egypt national team plans to include him in their squad for the Africa Cup of Nations, which will take place between 21st December and 18th January. That would mean losing the player during one of the most intense periods of the season, when Manchester City usually face a fixture pile-up across the Premier League, Champions League, and Carabao Cup. Egypt's head coach, Hossam Hassan, intends to call Marmoush up for a friendly against Nigeria on 14th of December, the same day City face Crystal Palace. The clash of dates has created a dilemma. By regulation, African teams can summon players 14 days before the start of the continental tournament, but Manchester City are expected to push to keep Marmoush until after the Palace match. His presence will be vital as the club continues to battle Arsenal point for point to narrow the gap before Christmas. Pep Guardiola will need to balance his strategy with surgical precision. The absence of key players could disrupt the team's tactical rhythm, and the coach knows that the December-January stretch often determines the course of the season. If Egypt reach the AFCON final, Marmoush could miss the Manchester United derby, but would return in time to strengthen the team for the Champions League tie against Bodo Glimt on 20th January. Every decision regarding the squad will be calculated in detail, since any slip could prove costly in the title race. Despite the challenges, there is a sense of optimism at the Etihad. Guardiola has instilled confidence within the squad and praised the progress of Phil Foden, who is on the verge of reaching a major milestone: 200 Premier League appearances. The coach expressed pride in seeing an academy graduate achieve such a feat at such a young age. Foden, who has already won every major trophy with the club, is in a phase of resurgence after a period of personal and physical difficulties. His maturity on the pitch reflects the growth of a player who has moved from being a promise to a true leader. Foden's achievement holds great symbolic value for Manchester City. It represents the strength of their youth development and the emotional link between the club and its supporters. The boy from Stockport, who grew up dreaming of playing at the Etihad, is now a hero to the new generation. For Guardiola, Foden is the perfect example of what it means to wear the sky blue shirt with pride and dedication. And for the fans, seeing the youngster reach 200 appearances reinforces the identity City have built: a blend of world-class stars and homegrown talents. While attention falls on the star names, the behind-the-scenes work continues quietly and methodically. The medical team monitors every detail of Haaland and Rodri's recoveries to ensure there is no risk of relapse. Analysts review performance data, measure training loads, and adjust tactical plans according to each player's physical profile. City rely not just on talent, but on precision at every level of operation. That's how Guardiola keeps his team competitive, even after years of consecutive success. The fans await the Bournemouth clash with anticipation, but also with a sense of hope. The return of the stars, the rise of young talents, and Pep's calm, confident tone feed the belief that the team can rediscover its best form. For many, this match represents more than just 3 points. It's a statement that Manchester City are ready to reclaim their path to glory. Preparation for the clash against Bournemouth has turned Manchester City's training ground into an environment of intense focus. Pep Guardiola, as always, left nothing to chance. Every training session was designed to reintegrate Haaland into the competitive rhythm while restoring fluidity to the midfield. which had struggled in Rodri's absence. The Catalan coach understands that the Norwegian's return is more than a tactical matter. It is psychological. Haaland's mere presence on the pitch changes the behavior of opponents. He attracts markers, commands respect, and creates space for Doku, Foden, and Cherki to exploit the attacking lanes. The team's approach without Haaland was combative, but clearly lacked a focal point in attack. Pep tested variations with Marmoush and even Doku in a central role, but no setup offered the same finishing power. Now, with the striker back, City regains its identity. Haaland is more than a goal scorer. He is the symbol of the club's new era of dominance. His instinct, combined with the collective intensity, restores the sense of inevitability that defined their victorious seasons. Pep knows the striker's return could be the turning point in regaining control of the league. Meanwhile, Rodri's situation continues to be handled with caution. Guardiola fully trusts the Spaniard, but prefers not to rush his return. The midfielder is the axis of City's playing model. His sense of positioning, his ability to change tempo, and his control of transitions between defense and attack make him irreplaceable. Rodri's absence has been felt not only in defensive organization, but also in the team's emotional control. Without him, City tends to lose structure and suffer under pressure. That is why Pep wants a gradual reintegration, keeping him in ideal condition for the demanding December fixture list. In the dressing room, there is a feeling of renewal. The past few weeks have been intense, and the group has responded accordingly. Guardiola constantly stresses the importance of mentality, reminding his players that City's true strength has always been its ability to turn adversity into fuel. This message resonates with veterans such as De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, who have become quiet leaders within the squad. Both understand the rhythm of English football and know that a slip-up in November can end title hopes by April. The medical department plays a crucial role at this stage. Monitoring is daily, with individualized reports on fatigue, muscle impact, and post-match recovery. The aim is to prevent the overload that often breaks teams during high-intensity periods. Guardiola repeats that success is not about playing more, but playing better. Intelligent rotation and strategic use of the squad will be the keys to surviving December and January without physical collapse. Attention also turns to the new generation, particularly Ryan Cherki, who is seeking to establish himself after months of adaptation. The Frenchman has impressed in training with his creativity and attacking vision. His ability to break lines and improvise in tight spaces pleases Guardiola, who values players capable of unlocking tight games. The idea is to integrate him gradually, avoiding the excessive pressure that has derailed other young talents. Cherki has the support of Doku and Foden, who have helped him understand the pace and demands of English football. However, the rise of youngsters such as Cherki and Kusanov also exposes a constant dilemma at City, balancing development and results. Guardiola knows Manchester City are judged by trophies, but also recognizes that the future depends on internal growth. Therefore, he and the board work on two fronts, winning in the present while building for tomorrow. Kusanov, for instance, is seen as part of this long-term plan. The Uzbek defender has been training intensely, studying the movements of Ruben Dias and Stones, and absorbing lessons on positioning and defensive timing. In training matches, he has stood out. His defensive awareness and physical strength have caught attention, though the coach admits there is still a path of maturation ahead. The transition from Central Asian football to the frenetic pace of the Premier League demands patience. The club invests time and resources to help him understand both the English style and the team's tactical structure. Guardiola always emphasizes that City do not merely want athletes, but minds that understand the game. And Kusanov, based on his approach, seems to possess that learning mentality. At the same time, Marmoush's situation has become a key topic among club officials. The potential loss of the forward to the Africa Cup of Nations is a concern. Pep Guardiola has been studying alternatives to cover for his absence, should it materialize. Losing the Egyptian during the peak of the schedule is seen as both a logistical and technical challenge. The coaching staff are analyzing the option of using Jack Grealish in a hybrid role, alternating between winger and false nine, while Doku could occupy the central area in specific matches. The goal is to maintain both intensity and depth. Marmoush himself is enjoying a special moment. His adaptation to City's style has been rapid, and his tactical commitment has impressed Guardiola. The coach views him as a versatile player, capable of defending and countering at speed. His call-up to the Egyptian national team is inevitable, and the club respects that. Even so, they are trying to negotiate his release only after the match against Crystal Palace, considered crucial in the race for the top of the table. Pep wants him available until the very last moment, demonstrating the importance of every squad member. Egypt, on the other hand, have ambitious plans. Their AFCON preparations include a friendly against Nigeria, and the national staff want all key players present. Coach Hossam Hassan considers Marmoush essential alongside Salah. The final decision on his release will come in the next few weeks, but the situation already forces Guardiola to think about contingency plans. The English season waits for no one, and the absence of a single player can reshape the team's attacking dynamics. Amid these challenges, Guardiola remains confident in his squad. His philosophy is unchanged. Possession dominance, intensity off the ball, and coordinated movement across all lines. City are aiming to recover the standards that once made them feared across Europe. To achieve this, Pep demands discipline and precision, especially during transitions. He insists that details win matches: one extra pass, the correct positioning, a faster recovery. That obsession with perfection is what sets Manchester City apart from the rest of the Premier League. Phil Foden, now at the peak of his technical and physical powers, embodies this culture of excellence. The player, close to reaching 200 appearances, represents the essence of City's mentality, raised at the club, molded by Guardiola, and established as a global star. Each training session reflects his maturity. His understanding of the game has deepened, and he has become the link between midfield and attack. The coach describes him as a creative engine, someone who brings the team's philosophy to life on the pitch. Foden's story inspires City's youth ranks. Young players see in him proof that patience and hard work bring rewards. For Guardiola, such examples are vital to preserving the club's identity. He knows success is not built solely through trophies, but through legacy. And Foden, despite his age, has already left a mark. The celebration of his 200th match will not merely be a statistic, but a symbol of the longevity and consistency City strive for. The match against Bournemouth, therefore, goes far beyond the scoreboard. It represents the rebirth of a team seeking to reaffirm its identity. Guardiola sees the game as a turning point, an opportunity to rediscover the fluency and confidence that define a champion City. He wants intensity from the first minute, high pressing, and patience in possession. The goal is to suffocate the opponent while testing the new attacking combinations developed during the week. The mood at the Etihad is one of quiet optimism. The squad knows that the Premier League title cannot be won in November, but can easily be lost. Arsenal are 6 points ahead, Liverpool are rising, and City cannot afford to stumble. Pep Guardiola, true to his philosophy, prefers to look inward rather than obsess over rivals. He repeats in every press conference that Manchester City must first compete with themselves before competing with anyone else. That mindset of self-demand keeps the club on another level. Fan confidence grows with every positive update. The return of Haaland, the encouraging outlook on Rodri, and the rise of promising young players give supporters the belief that City are ready to respond. The coming fixtures will be the real test of this revival. And if there is one thing the Guardiola era has taught the football world, it is that Manchester City should never be underestimated when they appear to be rising again. The team that reinvented English football is preparing to write another chapter in its modern history. Manchester City's clash with Bournemouth marks the first step in a mental reconstruction. Pep Guardiola knows that every victory is a brick in the foundation of confidence, and this is a time that demands stability. What's seen in training is a united group, determined to correct mistakes and recover the dominance once lost. There's a sense that this is the turning point where the team leaves behind instability and returns to behaving like the champion the world expects to see. The structure Guardiola has built for this resurgence is precise. He reorganized finishing drills, adjusted defensive transitions, and demanded more aggression in the opening minutes. In recent sessions, the focus has been on rapid recovery, one of the areas that failed against Aston Villa. The manager wants a side capable of regaining possession in less than 5 seconds after losing it, a concept that has guided his philosophy since his Barcelona days. This obsession with detail is what keeps City competitive across all fronts, even when the season feels draining. Behind the scenes, the squad's leaders have been crucial. Bernardo Silva has taken on a more vocal role, demanding intensity and focus from everyone. De Bruyne, though not at his peak, acts as a mentor, offering guidance to younger teammates. These quiet gestures create the kind of culture that sustains winning teams. Over the years, City have learned that excellence isn't born solely from tactics, but from collective mentality. When everyone understands the weight of the shirt, the system flows naturally. Phil Foden embodies that mentality. His 200-match milestone is a reminder that City are more than a club rich in signings. They are a development machine. The boy from Stockport who grew up idolizing the club has become a symbol of perseverance and loyalty. Within the squad, he is viewed as a model of discipline. Guardiola watches him with a mix of pride and expectation, always asking for more, always believing another level can be reached. Foden responds on the pitch with goals, assists, and a contagious energy that lifts his teammates. The Bournemouth match also offers the chance to test new attacking dynamics. Doku, Marmoush, and Cherki are expected to share creative responsibility, while Haaland returns to the position he knows best. Guardiola plans to alternate tempo between fast breaks and controlled possession, a balance that tends to confuse opponents. The aim is to restore the old pattern: total control, coordinated movement, and clinical finishing. That style once made City dominant across Europe, and it's the same style that must now be reactivated. In training, Haaland has shown hunger. After missing a few games, the striker displayed the same aggression and precision that made him one of the most feared forwards in world football. His understanding with Foden and Bernardo remains sharp, and the trio's reunion promises to restore the attacking flow that briefly vanished. Pep, attentive to every detail, has emphasized second ball situations and quick runs down the flanks, areas where City usually dismantle their rivals. In midfield, doubts remain over Rodri, but Guardiola seems to have found temporary solutions. Nico Gonzalez and Matheus Nunes have shown improvement, providing mobility and energy. Neither can replace Rodri's positional intelligence, but the rotation helps maintain the squad's physical balance. Pep praised both players' performances, but made it clear that the Spaniard's return will completely elevate the team's level. He considers Rodri the clock of City, the one who dictates rhythm, controls tempo, and stabilizes the team even under pressure. Inside the Etihad corridors, there is a calm, calculated atmosphere. The board closely monitors the coaching staff's work and is preparing targeted reinforcements for the January window. Nothing rushed. Only strategic moves. Guardiola wants players who fit the philosophy, not just big names. The focus is on strengthening the fullbacks and maintaining depth in attack, especially if Marmoush is released for Egypt's national team. Reports are being assessed daily, but the main priority right now is to preserve the cohesion of the current group. Marmoush's case continues to be handled diplomatically. The forward has expressed pride in representing his country, but also understands his commitment to City. Internally, he has maintained a professional attitude and full focus. Guardiola appreciates that maturity and trusts that, regardless of the Egyptian Federation's decision, Marmoush will continue to perform at a high level. The manager sees in him a player capable of handling the pressure of playing for a club that demands excellence every week. The same applies to Kusanov, whose progress has been promising. The Uzbek defender has impressed in tactical sessions. His reading of the game has sharpened, and the technical staff believe that within a few months, he could begin competing more regularly. His adaptation process is being closely monitored by Guardiola, who understands the challenges young players face when arriving from different backgrounds. Kusanov is not seen as just another name, but as a long-term investment, and City's history shows that projects often become concrete realities. The synergy between experience and youth keeps Manchester City so consistent. Players like Stones and Diaz provide defensive security, while emerging names bring freshness and competition. This mix is controlled with precision. Pep Guardiola has learned over the years that the secret is not only signing well, but knowing when to use each piece. He turns players into systems, and systems into results. That is what allows City to endure the Premier League's storms. The expectation is that the Bournemouth game marks the start of a new positive run. The calendar until the end of the year is heavy, and every point will be vital to stay in contention. Pep demands total intensity, but also emotional balance. He reminds his players that the season is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency, not flashes, is what matters. That steadiness has turned City into a model of stability in modern football. The fans, for their part, are once again filling the Etihad with the same passion as in the golden years. Confidence in Guardiola's project remains untouched. Even after setbacks, the collective belief is that the team always finds its way back to the top. The energy from the stands feeds the players, and the manager recognizes the emotional role supporters play. Pep often says that without the fans, there is no identity. That's why he insists on keeping the team connected to the community, reminding everyone that City's success is a shared construction. In his latest interview, Guardiola ended with a line that echoed among reporters. This group is still hungry, and when a group with talent and hunger aligns, nothing stops it. That sentence captures the essence of Manchester City right now, a team that fell, rose again, and is now ready to fight once more. The climb back to the top begins against Bournemouth, but in the players' minds, the goal stretches far beyond, reclaiming the Premier League, returning to Champions League prominence, and maintaining the dominance the club built under the Catalans' philosophy. City are entering a new era, more mature, more disciplined, and more aware of their limits. Haaland returns as the symbol of raw power, Rodri as the brain, Foden blossoms as the beating heart, and Guardiola, the architect, continues drawing invisible paths between passes, movements, and ideas. Sunday's match will be just one chapter, but perhaps the most crucial so far, the chapter where Manchester City once again prove that they never stop evolving. Thus, Manchester City embark on another decisive chapter of their journey. A renewed squad, Pep Guardiola's confidence, and the return of their key stars reignite hope for a victorious season. Every training session, every match, every detail shows that this group is not satisfied with the past. They want more. History is being written before our eyes, and the next step could define the course of the entire campaign. If you believe in this team's power and feel the same pride in seeing City fight to the end, don't leave without hitting the like button. It helps the channel keep bringing you news, analysis, and behind-the-scenes insight straight from the heart of the Etihad Stadium. And if you're not yet subscribed, take this moment to do it now. That way you won't miss any updates, press conferences, or breaking stories about the greatest team in the Premier League. Turn on the notification bell. Share your thoughts on Haaland and Rodri's return in the comments, and send this video to another supporter who lives and breathes City with the same passion. See you in the next video, because here, with every match, the story keeps being written in sky blue.